Hi, I'm Norm Abram. Welcome to the New Yankee Workshop. Today we're going to build one of the hottest items in the furniture design world.
For over 2 decades, the New Yankee Workshop and its host Norm Abram inspired millions to embrace woodworking. But in 2009, the beloved show came to an unexpected end. Today we explore the real reason behind the workshop's closure and its lasting legacy. The New Yankee Workshop, a brief history. The New Yankee Workshop started in 1989 as a spin-off from the popular show This Old House. Both shows were created by Russell Marash, a producer with a knack for educational TV. The idea was simple: show people how to make beautiful furniture and teach them woodworking skills. Each episode, Norm Abram would guide viewers through making a piece of furniture from start to finish. He'd show every step, from choosing the wood to adding the final touches. What made the show unique was how Norm explained things. He made even complex projects seem doable for the average person at home. The show quickly became a hit. Woodworkers loved it because they could learn new techniques. DIY enthusiasts tuned in to get inspiration for their next project. Even people who'd never picked up a hammer found themselves drawn to Norm's calm teaching style. The New Yankee Workshop wasn't just on TV. It spawned books, project plans, and even a line of tools. People could buy detailed instructions to make the same projects Norm did on the show. This helped spread the love of woodworking even further. Over time, the show became more than just a how-to program. It was a Saturday morning ritual for many. Norm's plaid shirts became as iconic as his woodworking skills. The show didn't just teach, it inspired a whole generation of woodworkers and DIY enthusiasts. Norm Abram, the heart of the workshop. Norm Abram didn't start out as a TV star. He was born in Rhode Island and grew up in Massachusetts. His dad was a carpenter, and young Norm learned the trade by working with him during summer breaks. This early start gave Norm a deep love for woodworking. After college, Norm worked in construction. He was good at his job and soon started his own company. Then, by chance, he got a job building a small barn for Russell Marash, the producer of This Old House. Marash was impressed by Norm's skills and invited him to be on the show. Norm joined This Old House in 1979 as the show's master carpenter. His knowledge, skills, and easygoing personality made him a hit with viewers. People loved how he explained things in a way anyone could understand. When the New Yankee Workshop started in 1989, Norm was the natural choice to host. Here he could really show off his woodworking skills. Each week he'd guide viewers through making a new project, from simple shelves to complex furniture. Norm had a special way of teaching. He was patient and never talked down to viewers. He made mistakes sometimes and showed how to fix them. This made people feel like they could do it too. His calm voice and plaid shirts became his trademarks. Norm didn't just teach woodworking, he taught problem solving and the value of doing things right. He always stressed safety, making sure viewers knew how to use tools properly. Over the years, Norm became more than just a TV host. He was like a trusted friend to many viewers. The workshop itself. The New Yankee Workshop wasn't filmed on a fancy TV set. It was a real working workshop built by Norm Abram himself. Located in Russell Marash's backyard in Carlisle, Massachusetts, this shop became a second home to Norm and a familiar place to viewers. The workshop was about 936 square feet, filled with all kinds of woodworking tools. It had everything from basic hand tools to big power tools like table saws and lathes. The shop was always neat and organized, showing viewers the importance of a clean workspace. Over the 21 seasons of the show, the workshop changed a bit. New tools were added as technology improved, but the basic layout stayed the same. This consistency was comforting to viewers who tuned in week after week. The workshop wasn't just about the tools. It was full of wood of all kinds, ready for the next project. There were also completed pieces from past episodes, giving the space a lived-in feel. The large windows let in plenty of natural light, making it a pleasant place to work. For many viewers, Norm's workshop was the ideal. It had everything a woodworker could want. While not everyone could have a shop like this at home, it gave people ideas for setting up their own workspaces no matter how small. The show's success. The New Yankee Workshop was a huge hit. It ran for 21 seasons over 20 years, from 1989 to 2009. Millions of people watched Norm Abram work his magic with wood every week. The show aired on PBS stations across the country, reaching a wide audience. The show didn't just entertain, it inspired. Many people took up woodworking because of Norm. Woodworking clubs saw more members join. Tool sales went up as viewers wanted to try the techniques they saw on TV. The show made woodworking cool and accessible. The New Yankee Workshop was more than just a TV show. It became a brand. There were books filled with project plans. Norm even had his own line of tools. Fans could buy t-shirts, mugs, and other items with the show's logo. All this helped spread the love of woodworking even further. The show won several awards over the years. It got a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Special Class Series in 1994. Norm himself was recognized for his contributions to television and woodworking. These awards showed that the show was respected not just by fans, but by the TV industry too. The New Yankee Workshop became part of popular culture. Norm's plaid shirts and safety glasses were instantly recognizable. The show was mentioned in other TV programs and movies. It was more than just a how-to show, it was a shared experience for millions of viewers. Perhaps the biggest success was how the show inspired young people. Many professional woodworkers today say they first got interested in the craft by watching Norm. The show didn't just teach skills, it passed on a love for working with wood to a new generation. Signs of change. As the years went by, the world of TV started to change. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, new types of shows became popular. Reality TV and home makeover shows with big reveals started taking over. These flashy shows were very different from Norm's calm, step-by-step approach. People's viewing habits were changing too. With the rise of the internet and later smartphones, fewer people were sitting down to watch TV at set times. This made it harder for shows like the New Yankee Workshop to keep their audience. The internet brought new ways to learn woodworking. YouTube videos, online forums, and woodworking blogs started popping up. These offered quick tips and project ideas that were available anytime. Some viewers started to prefer these over full TV episodes. Like many PBS shows, the New Yankee Workshop relied on sponsors and viewer donations. As the economy had ups and downs, this funding became less certain. It was getting harder to keep the show going with the same high quality. The show's core audience was getting older. While many loyal fans stuck with Norm, it was harder to attract younger viewers. New woodworkers were often turning to online sources for inspiration and instruction. Making a high-quality show about woodworking isn't cheap. The show needed good cameras to capture all the details. They also had to buy wood and materials for each project. As costs went up, it became more challenging to produce the show on a PBS budget. Norm Abram was still a big part of this old house, which kept going strong. Balancing two shows was a lot of work. There were signs that Norm might be ready for a change after so many years of non-stop production. The DIY world was changing too. Upcycling, quick makeovers, and craft projects were becoming more popular. While these didn't replace fine woodworking, they were competing for viewers' attention and time. The decision to end the show. After 21 seasons, Norm Abram decided it was time to step back from the New Yankee Workshop. This wasn't a decision he made lightly. Norm had been doing the show for over 20 years, on top of his work on this old house. He felt it was time for a change and wanted to focus on other parts of his life. It's important to know that the show didn't end because of low ratings or lack of money. In fact, the New Yankee Workshop was still popular and had loyal fans. Norm himself said that the show was fully funded and could have gone on for several more years if he wanted. Russell Morash, the show's creator and producer, supported Norm's decision. He knew how much work went into each episode. Morash understood that after 2 decades, Norm might want to pursue other interests. He respected Norm's choice and didn't try to continue the show without him. WGBH, the PBS station that produced the show, announced the end of the New Yankee Workshop on October 16, 2009. They made it clear that this was Norm's decision. The station praised Norm's work over the years and thanked him for his contributions. When a popular show ends, there are often rumors about why. Some people thought the show was canceled because of low viewership. Others suggested that woodworking was becoming less popular. But these weren't true. The producers made it clear that the decision was Norm's, and woodworking was still going strong. In many ways, ending the show was a natural step. Norm had covered hundreds of projects over the years. While there's always more to learn in woodworking, he felt he had shared a huge amount of knowledge with viewers. Norm decided to continue his work on This Old House. This show had been his first TV home, and he wanted to keep contributing to it. Focusing on one show instead of two would give him more time for personal projects and family. There was never a plan to replace Norm and keep the show going. The New Yankee Workshop was so closely tied to Norm's personality and teaching style that it wouldn't have been the same without him. The producers felt it was better to end on a high note than to try to continue without its heart and soul. The final season. The last season of the New Yankee Workshop was special. Norm chose projects that were meaningful to him and the show's history. He built some classic pieces that viewers had requested over the years. There was a mix of furniture for different skill levels, from beginner to advanced. Throughout the final season, there were nods to the show's long history. Norm would sometimes mention past projects or techniques he'd taught over the years. This gave longtime viewers a sense of nostalgia and appreciation for how far the show had come. A few episodes featured special guests. Other woodworkers and craftspeople joined Norm in the shop. This was a nice way to bring in different perspectives and honor the wider woodworking community that the show had helped build. The final season included some behind-the-scenes peeks at how the show was made. Viewers got to see more of the camera crew and learn about the process of filming a woodworking show. This gave fans a deeper appreciation for all the work that went into each episode. The last episode was bittersweet. Norm didn't make a big deal about it being the end, staying true to his humble style. He finished a beautiful project, as always, and thanked the viewers for their support over the years. The show ended as it had always been, focused on the craft of woodworking. After the final regular episode, a special show aired looking back at the history of the New Yankee Workshop. It highlighted some of the most popular projects and shared memories from the crew and guests. This gave viewers a chance to reflect on the show's impact and say goodbye. Legacy and continuing influence. Even though the New Yankee Workshop ended, its influence lived on. Many new woodworking shows on TV and YouTube were clearly inspired by Norm's style. These shows often mentioned the New Yankee Workshop as their inspiration, showing how important it had been. Norm Abram continued to appear on This Old House after the New Yankee Workshop ended. This meant fans could still see him sharing his woodworking knowledge, just in a different setting. His presence on This Old House helped keep the spirit of the New Yankee Workshop alive. The actual workshop where the show was filmed wasn't torn down. It was kept as a kind of museum piece, preserving the place where so much woodworking magic happened. Some of Norm's tools and unfinished projects remained, like a time capsule of the show. Even though new episodes stopped, fans could still watch reruns of the New Yankee Workshop on some PBS stations. The show's project plans remained available for purchase, allowing woodworkers to keep building Norm's designs. This meant the show's teaching continued long after it ended. Many woodworking schools and programs were influenced by Norm's teaching style. His clear step-by-step approach became a model for how to teach woodworking. This meant that even people who never watched the show were learning in ways inspired by it. The show inspired a whole generation of woodworkers and DIY enthusiasts. Many people who started woodworking because of Norm went on to become professionals or serious hobbyists. They, in turn, passed on their skills to others, creating a ripple effect of knowledge. By teaching traditional woodworking techniques alongside modern methods, the New Yankee Workshop helped keep old-world craftsmanship alive. This balance of old and new continues to influence how woodworking is practiced and taught today. Fan reactions and tributes. When news spread that the new Yankee Workshop was ending, fans took to social media to share their feelings. Many posted memories of watching the show, often mentioning how Norm had inspired them to try woodworking. There was a sense of sadness, but also gratitude for all the years of great content. Woodworking forums and clubs organized tributes to the show. Some held build-alongs where members would all make one of Norm's classic projects. Others shared stories of how the show had influenced their work or hobby. It was clear that the new Yankee Workshop had been more than just a TV show for many people. Even some celebrities chimed in with their appreciation. A few famous woodworking enthusiasts, like Nick Offerman, talked about how Norm had influenced them. This showed how far-reaching the show's impact had been. Woodworking magazines and tool companies published articles and tributes to the show. Many acknowledged how the new Yankee Workshop had helped grow interest in woodworking, which was good for the whole industry. Some fans decided to honor the show by taking on big projects they'd always wanted to try. They shared these tribute builds online, often using techniques they'd learned from Norm. It was a hands-on way of saying thank you and showing how much they'd learned. Norm Abram was touched by all the tributes. In interviews after the show ended, he often mentioned how grateful he was for the fans' support over the years. He seemed genuinely moved by how much the show had meant to so many people. What Norm Abram did next. After the new Yankee Workshop ended, Norm Abram kept busy with this old house. He was still a regular on the show, bringing his woodworking expertise to home renovation projects. This allowed fans to keep seeing Norm on TV, just in a slightly different role. With more free time, Norm was able to focus on his own woodworking projects. He mentioned in interviews that he was enjoying working on pieces for friends and family. This gave him a chance to work at his own pace, without the pressures of TV production. Norm started doing more public speaking engagements. He would talk at woodworking shows, craft fairs, and even some colleges. These talks let him share his knowledge and experiences with fans in person. Norm continued to write for woodworking magazines and books. He also did some consulting work for tool companies, helping design new woodworking tools. This kept him involved in the woodworking world just behind the scenes. Norm got involved with some charity projects, often ones related to building or renovation. He used his skills to help communities and teach others about the value of craftsmanship. With a bit more free time, Norm was able to enjoy other aspects of life. He spent more time with family and pursued other interests, but woodworking remained a big part of his life, even if it wasn't on TV every week. The future of woodworking entertainment. The end of the new Yankee Workshop marked a shift in how people learned about woodworking. But it didn't mean the end of woodworking entertainment. In fact, the show's influence could be seen in many new formats that emerged. Online platforms like YouTube became home to countless woodworking channels. Many of these creators cited Norm Abram as their inspiration. They adopted his clear, step-by-step teaching style but added their own modern twists. Social media platforms allowed woodworkers to share their projects instantly. Instagram and Pinterest became filled with woodworking ideas and tutorials. This online community kept the spirit of sharing and learning alive, just as the new Yankee Workshop had done on TV. Woodworking podcasts also became popular. These audio shows discussed techniques, tools, and trends in the woodworking world. Many featured interviews with experienced craftspeople, continuing the tradition of passing down knowledge. The rise of maker spaces and community workshops showed that people still wanted hands-on experiences. These shared spaces often offered classes and workshops, bringing people together to learn woodworking in person. Traditional woodworking schools saw renewed interest too. Many students said they were inspired to pursue formal training after watching shows like the new Yankee Workshop. These schools helped keep traditional techniques alive while also embracing new technologies. The DIY movement continued to grow, with woodworking playing a big part. Home improvement stores started offering more woodworking classes and demonstrations. This made the craft more accessible to beginners, much like Norm had done on his show. New TV shows about woodworking and craftsmanship emerged, each finding its own niche. Some focused on competitive aspects, others on restoration of antiques. While none could replicate the new Yankee Workshop exactly, they all shared the goal of inspiring and educating viewers. The new Yankee Workshop ended not because of a lack of interest or funding, but because its host, Norm Abram, felt it was time to move on. After 21 seasons of sharing his knowledge and passion, Norm had earned a well-deserved break. The show's impact on the world of woodworking and DIY can't be overstated. It inspired countless people to pick up tools and create. It taught viewers not just how to build things, but how to approach problems and find creative solutions. Norm Abram's legacy extends far beyond the projects he built on the show. He became a trusted teacher and friend to millions of viewers. His calm demeanor, clear explanations, and emphasis on safety set a standard for woodworking education that continues to influence teachers and creators today. While the show may have ended, its spirit lives on in workshops, classrooms, and online communities around the world. The love for craftsmanship and the joy of creating something with your own hands, these are the lasting gifts of the new Yankee Workshop.